Oh boy, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks. Do not get me started on the Craig Button, Elias Pettersson conversation. We will talk about more about that later in today's show. But for now, we are focusing on Rick Dhaliwal's scoop and how alarming this could potentially be for the Vancouver Canucks next year. Dolly tweeted this out earlier this morning at 8:08 a.m. It sounds like the Vancouver Canucks made a contract offer to UFA goalie Kevin Lankinen a while back, and it was rejected. Where are contract talks today? We will have more on the show. Now, before we dive into the actual commentary from Dhaliwal as to the situation, let's dive into Kevin Lankinen as a goaltender for the Vancouver Canucks. He is 29 years old, 6'2", 190, left-handed catching guy, signed on till the end of this season, making $875,000. This guy could have had a $2 million deal elsewhere. He could have signed in Nashville for something similar to that. But instead, he wanted a chance at being a number one. He didn't sign right away in the offseason. He wanted to wait. He wanted to really find the right spot for him. And it didn't come. Up until the end of the offseason last year, where the Vancouver Canucks knocked on Lankinen's door and they said, hey, our guy's still hurt. Artur Silayev is up here. We don't have Casey DeSmith anymore. We need a goalie. There's an opportunity for you to win out over Silayev and be the number one here, but we have no money. So will you accept an $875,000 deal? And Lankinen at first was like, nah, but then eventually he was like, okay, I'll sign, fine. There's an opportunity here in Van, and that is exactly why he is with the Vancouver Canucks today. Now, I get it. A lot of people are going to crap on Lankinen because of the game he had against Team Canada. Just a few days ago, he let in 4 goals on 13 shots and he got pulled. So a .692 save percentage certainly is not good for Lankinen, but he did have an .875 in the 4-3 overtime win against Sweden. Other than that, though, Kevin Lankinen has had a pretty good season with the Vancouver Canucks. I get it, a .905 save percentage is not the most impressive in the world, especially when you see the numbers he had had in prior years, a .908 with Nashville, an .916 with Nashville, a .909 with Chicago. He has been pretty good save percentage-wise the past few seasons, but this season in Vancouver, Kevin Lankinen, for the opening parts of the year, was legitimately one of the best goalies in the NHL. I mean, you're looking at the numbers at the very beginning of the year, a .935, a .929, a shutout, .955, .929, .966, a shutout, .912, .938, .906, a shutout. He was getting shutouts after shutouts after shutouts, and I mean, he's got 4 on the year. He's looked super clutch throughout pockets of the season for Vancouver. Even the last game he had played before the break, .955 save percentage against Toronto. Lankinen has his dud games, that's for sure. I mean, a .792 against Montreal, an .818 against Winnipeg. That particular was a really bad game for him, with the giveaway goal where he sent it over into the corner for Gabe Vilardi. But still, Lankinen has been so clutch, has been all the Vancouver Canucks have needed and more. The team in front of him has not really shown up to play in a lot of these losses he has had. He is a very important piece of this Vancouver Canucks season, and you can say it's him or Quinn Hughes who has been the most valuable player for the team in 2024-2025. So to see Vancouver send a contract offer to Lankinen to keep him a while back, yeah, okay, they obviously want to keep him, but it was rejected. Let's dive into this video clip. It's 4 minutes long, posted on the Donnie and Dolly Twitter account, but instead of watching the clip itself, we're just going to go over onto this Canucks Army article published by Tyson Cole from 2 hours ago, because like I like to do, I think Tyson Cole and the Canucks Army crew used the AI machine to transcribe the video footage and write it out here. And the reason I say that is because it says Joey Daccord, which is definitely not the right way to spell Joey Daccord's name. This is what Dhaliwal said here in this video. The Canucks were very aggressive in the first week of January trying to sign Kevin Lankinen. They made what sources say a very solid offer, term and money. Some say the offer was over $3 million a year, and it was rejected. At that time, agent Todd Diamond wanted to see what the salary cap would be this summer. He's got that number. Now, talks have been pretty quiet. Here's some contracts I want you to look at. Logan Thompson, $5.8 million a year. Mackenzie Blackwood, 5.2. Joey Daccord, 5.2. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 4.7. Where does Lankinen belong in that group? I'm saying that there has been some goalies signing this year that have changed the goalie market. Outside of Blackwood, all have similar games played experience. Here's the key. Demko, 4 injuries in a year. The Canucks cannot go cheap with the backup goalie position next year, Donnie. They've got to spend money. They're clearly going to have to go outside their comfort zone to sign Lankinen. My feeling is it's going to be hard to re-sign Lankinen, and if the final number is not more in line with those recent deals I just talked about. But I get the Canucks credit here. January 1st was when you could sign Lankinen. They got to him right away and made a good offer. But I will say this, the Canucks absolutely love Lankinen. He is well liked with his teammates, Rick Tocchet loves him, the goalie coach Marco Torenius is his goalie coach in Finland, so everything fits. Everything fits in Vancouver for Lankinen, but it looks like, right now, there's a gap in the money. Now, where exactly is that money going to take us? Let's go over to a tweet made by Grady that tweeted this out. AFP Analytics had Kevin Lankinen's next projected contract at 2 years times $3.2 million at the end of January. With how things have unfolded since, that seems way too low, although they have noted it's trending up. I could see Lankinen getting 3 to 4 years in a closer to $4 or $5 million a year range. AFP went out there and actually replied to this with a really long piece of text. A couple of things to think about in this Canucks-Lankinen situation. Number one, it helps that Logan Thompson signed his extension earlier. The UFA market for potential starters to 1B level has names like Hill, Lindgren, Vejmelka, Lankinen, and Allen. Maybe a strong finish and a playoff run helps him leap into the higher dollar range out of that group. Number two, one of the things that in theory could hurt Lankinen's chances at bigger money is the fact that very recently he was a backup goalie, and a solid one in our opinion, who almost didn't have a team and had to sign for $875,000. Has perception changed enough for him? It certainly has changed a bit in the positive way, but is he getting 1 or 1A money from half a season of filling in? We do have him trending up, but how he finishes this season and potentially the playoffs could really impact his perception league-wide and his potential payday. Number 3, as many in the Canucks Twitter community have mentioned, it seems we could be headed to a Lankinen or Demko decision this offseason, and many are tired of relying on Demko, who has had injury issues somewhat consistently. Can Kevin Lankinen keep playing well and possibly even go on a playoff run? Maybe or maybe not. Demko is currently week to week, igniting the conversation, but there is also a scenario where he returns and goes on a playoff run with Lankinen taking a back seat. Maybe, maybe not. Does that hurt Lankinen on the market? Maybe, maybe not. The point being, a few different scenarios could play out that still impact Lankinen's value. Regardless, unless he extends beforehand, we'll have an update in May with the final contract projections to the free agency class. Projections could decrease, stay relatively similar, or increased. Please stay tuned. So AFP does a pretty good dive as to the different scenarios that could impact Kevin Lankinen's potential payday and whether or not he actually will be able to get money in that, let's just say, Logan Thompson, Mackenzie Blackwood, Joey Daccord area. That's what Grady also went out there and tweeted about this. Goalies who have signed recently when pondering what Kevin Lankinen's deal could look like. These are maybe potential contract comparisons. If Lankinen is better than all these guys, then you can say he's getting more. But the thing is, some of these guys are really good and they're actually consistent starters. So is Kevin Lankinen actually going to be in this territory? That is the question that I want you to let me know in the comments. What do you think? And I'll also leave a link in the description to the Canucks Army article, which has the transcript of the Rick Dhaliwal video and the Dhaliwal video itself. It's all going to be there. But with Kevin Lankinen already rejecting one contract from the Vancouver Canucks, I want you to let me know, does this get you worried? Is there some sort of a, let's just say, Demko versus Lankinen angle that we should be diving into more here? It is a very good point here that a lot of Canucks fans have been kind of ticked off with Demko's, I don't want to say like irresponsibility or whatever, but just the hurt factor on Demko. He's kind of made of glass at this point in his NHL career. Very good player, absolutely. Vezina finalist last year. But if he's going to be hurt so often, do you just pull the plug on his time with the Vancouver Canucks? Do you just go with Lankinen instead? I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk about the Pettersson button stuff a little bit later in today's show. And bye.